Hey guys, and Happy New Year! This is my first video for 2025 and I'd like to give you some tips about how you can achieve the level of fluency in English that you've always wanted to reach. One strategy that has worked really well for me and has led to fast results is doubling down on my strengths when it comes to learning a language. Everyone has strong sides and some weaknesses, right? But you gotta know yourself. Let's break this idea down. Learning a language involves various components such as memorizing vocabulary and grammar, improving listening and understanding, practicing speaking and pronunciation, and developing reading and writing skills. You've probably noticed that you always gravitate more towards some of these activities while procrastinating or entirely avoiding the others. For example, when I was learning English, I liked imitating whatever I heard on TV, as well as learning grammar. Yeah, I know, grammar. I'm that weird. On the other hand, memorizing words is a little more challenging to me. Sometimes I see a word I know I've learned before, and I'm supposed to know and be able to use, but I have to look it up like 10 times until I remember it. So grammar and imitating are my strengths, while remembering vocabulary is my weakness. For you, it's probably different. You might like reading, but have a problem with listening and understanding. Or you might like listening and watching movies or content on YouTube, but avoid speaking every time you need to say something. Everyone is different, and it's normal to have different strengths and weaknesses. But in order to move forward with your English, you need to know your personal strengths and weaknesses so that you can hack the process. The point is to keep developing the skills you are naturally good at because you like doing these activities anyway. But, and here is the important part, in between two of your favorite activities, you need to squeeze in one of your weaknesses. And you need to do this in a smart way so that you can trick your brain into staying motivated and making steady progress. Think of it like a sandwich. You start with two ingredients you love, your strengths, and sneak in something in the middle that you're not a fan of, your weaknesses. Even though it's not your favorite, it's packed with healthy nutrients that will help you grow stronger. The result? You hardly notice the thing you don't like because it's paired with things you enjoy and you still like the overall experience while benefiting from the extra boost. Here's how I managed to trick my brain. As I mentioned earlier, memorizing words wasn't my favorite thing to do. So I stuck to the activities I enjoyed most, like imitating and working on grammar. But with a twist. I specifically chose speeches, dialogues, and texts that contained plenty of new vocabulary. This way, while shadowing or practicing, I was naturally absorbing new words without feeling like I was forcing myself to memorize them. Don't get me wrong, I still had to repeat some words multiple times before they stuck in my long-term memory. But the key was that I used a method I actually enjoyed, making the process much more effective and less tedious. So here's what you can do to accelerate your English fluency in 2025. First, identify what you enjoy the most and the least about learning English. Let's discuss a few common strength-weakness combinations. If you find yourself always watching content in English and you understand quite a lot, but you avoid speaking to the point that it hinders your career and personal growth, keep doing whatever you're doing, but focus on content with more dialogues. When two or more people speak, you will be exposed to a more natural conversation and intonation. Try to imitate one of the speakers and pretend you are the one speaking to the other person. If you do this daily, your speaking anxiety will slowly start disappearing. You will learn new vocabulary, phrases, and expressions while working on your pronunciation at the same time. You might also become a better listener because in order to be able to repeat what you hear, you'll have to listen more actively and notice language nuances you might have missed before. If you enjoy reading and excel at grammar but struggle with understanding others, Don't worry, you can leverage your love for reading by diving into materials that teach you about English phonemes and connected speech. As you read, try to analyze words and predict their pronunciation. Highlight tricky letters or letter combinations that produce challenging sounds. Explore connected speech to understand how words blend together in natural conversation. The more you learn about pronunciation, the more attuned you'll become to these patterns when listening to others. Practice active listening by focusing on identifying phonemes you've studied. Make this a regular habit, and over time, you'll notice significant improvements in your comprehension. If you're comfortable speaking in English but struggle with written texts, it's possible that you're relying on a limited vocabulary, using words you already know and feel comfortable with. You may also make some grammatical mistakes or stick to simpler sentence structures. You might be thinking, well, if I don't shy away from speaking, I'm okay with not understanding everything when I read. That's perfectly fine if speaking is your main goal, but if you plan to study in the US or work in a company where written texts like emails or professional documents are exchanged regularly, you'll need to step it up a notch. In this case, you'll need to focus on expanding your vocabulary and mastering more advanced grammar, both in terms of usage and comprehension. So, how can you expand your vocabulary and improve your grammar without relying on drills? Start by paying closer attention to other people's speech. What words do they use in different situations? Do they use any grammatical tenses that are unfamiliar to you or that you've never noticed before? Take note of these details and try to vary your own speech. At first, you might feel uneasy using new vocabulary, so look up words independently or ask someone you trust to ensure you fully understand their meaning. Then, challenge yourself by using 1 or 2 new words each day when speaking with a close friend. This approach will allow you to gradually build confidence without overwhelming yourself. Guys, of course, there are other, more traditional methods to work on your fluency. But as I said in the beginning of this video, we typically tend to avoid doing things we don't enjoy. So the key is to ride with the wave. Work on your weaknesses while still doing what you enjoy. Let me know what you enjoy doing and what you absolutely avoid when practicing your English. I hope you find the strength, weakness, sandwich technique helpful and put it into practice. Let's make 2025 super productive. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done it yet. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.